doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That me, you really playing with your life, I'm about to come and
Just
run
a
it
motherfucking
all.
jump. Just go. Welcome to the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy, and this is our reaction video. We are going to have a doctor. Ooh, a doctor. She must be very, very smart. Is your testosterone optimized for your age? What you need to know. And already I can tell you I'm already irritated by the title because optimizing for your age is stupid. I'd love to have this doctor sitting across from me and have this doctor tell me exactly why it would be a health risk for a 50-year-old to have the testosterone level of a 20-year-old. What's the risk there, doctor? There is no risk. And how do I know that? Just because I'm 57 years old and I've been doing this for 17 years and I know what my own labs look like. But I'm going to give her a chance. See what she has. I could be wrong. Maybe that's just her title. So Leo picked this out, thought I'd be interested, and I am, because I'm all about testosterone. I love testosterone. Testosterone is what makes us men. Now let's go.
What the normal testosterone level is for your age. I'm Dr. Rena Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon. And today we're going to review some new research digging into what testosterone levels are on average for men between the ages of 20 and 44. So according to the American Urological Association, low testosterone levels are less than 300 nanograms per deciliter. And in order to officially diagnose low testosterone, you have to have two serum total testosterone levels in the early morning. And we say early morning because among men with traditional sleep patterns, meaning you usually sleep between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m., your peak testosterone values occur between 3 and 8 a.m. And those levels tend to decrease quite significantly throughout the day. Particularly, they've looked at total testosterone levels at 4 p.m. in men who are 30 to 40 years old, and they found that they're 20 to 25% lower than measurements taken at 8 a.m. And why do you take two? Well, that's because there's really significant variability between testosterone levels, even if they're from you. And this has actually been shown in research that repeat testosterone levels can vary between 65 to 153% between tests.
Wow, that's a big variability. That's what I'm saying. That number is big, a wide range. And yes, there's a wide range. And yes, you should do it early in the morning. I do agree. It'll be interesting to see what she thinks the number should be related to those particular age groups. But we're only focusing on young dudes. And really, testosterone replacement therapy for a very long time was not really an issue for young guys unless they had health issues going on. But it was rare. It was rare for younger guys. And still today, it's not normal, but the fact is that it's actually becoming more normal. More young men are being diagnosed with low T. I was kind of wondering, though, about her implying about the 300 number and doing the two tests. Do you have to have two tests below 300? Are you not considering, as a urologist, which you should, how do you feel? You know, what are your symptoms? Your symptoms are important. But so far, she's not mentioned anything about symptoms, only the number. Let's see where it goes.
And when you use two measurements, this is actually reduced to somewhere between 30 and 43%. The problem with this 300 nanogram per deciliter value is that it was derived from testosterone replacement trials that were done in men above the age of 45. Also, we know that testosterone levels decline with age. And lastly, cutoffs vary depending on the society you're looking at. So while the American Urological Association—
That's pretty good so far. I like that. That she is starting to give the information that I like to share, which is the fact that these levels or these normal ranges are different everywhere. Every lab has a different range. They have a different high-low range overall. They have a different high-low range based on ages as well. There's no standard across the board amongst the medical community of what is truly standard. Because labs, you could have a lab that instead of 360, their low is 260. And if you come in at 270, that doctor's not going to prescribe it for you. It's absolutely crazy.
Depending on the society you're looking at. So while the American Urological Association says 300, there are societies that go as low as 200 and societies that say cutoffs are as high as 350 nanograms per deciliter. So I know in my practice, there's tons of young men who come in talking to me about having symptoms of low testosterone. And what are those symptoms? Well, they can be fatigue, low sex drive, difficulty with erections, having reduced muscle mass, maybe losing some armpit or pubic hair, or noticing that the test.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing about the hair thing. I've never heard the hair as a symptom, and I guess maybe it is if she says it is. I'm going to take her word for it, but I'm also going to say, does that matter? Do you really care? Are you really, do you like a big hairy bush above your dick? Is that what you like? Comment below. Tell me what your thoughts are on hair loss.
Are smaller than usual, or even having hot flashes. Some guys will also have depression or difficulty with concentration and memory, or even notice that their breast tissue is enlarging. So these are serious symptoms, right? And really bothersome to a lot of people. So in these young guys, I'll often check their testosterone and get a level somewhere between 300 and 400 nanograms per deciliter. Now, while that's considered normal, overall, it might not actually be normal for...
Normal how? Normal because it's in the normal range, or normal for a young guy because she's specifically talking about young men here. It is not normal for a young guy in his 20s to have a testosterone level between the ranges of that she just mentioned was 300 and 400. For a young man to have a good testosterone range, I would say it would be 700-800. Range would be really good and should be expected. And I think that's lower than it was decades and years ago. But for right now, like, would that be considered like really solid? That's solid, at least if you're a young man. But if you're between 300 and 400, that number, and if you have symptoms, you may be in the normal range, but that is low T. Okay, it's just not lower out of range, but it's not okay for men and not normal for men to be in the 300-400 range if you're in your 20s. No. 100% no.
Per deciliter. Now, while that's considered normal, overall, it might not actually be normal for them. And we've never really had great data to discuss what exactly is expected to be normal for them. And now we do. So in this study, a group of researchers...
We have it now. There's a study. Let's check out this study. I can't wait to get a hold of this study, by the way. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast, and I'm your host, Troy Neff. This is our reaction video. If you like what you're seeing here, please drop us that like, that follow. We especially need you subscribers. Appreciate you. Love you much. God bless.
Old data from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. And this is a survey that looks at a sample of people from around the United States that's supposed to be representative of the national demographics, meaning that they're the same kind of age breakdown, the same racial breakdown, and many other factors. So they looked at this survey from 2011 to 2016. And in this survey, they can gain all sorts of information, including interviews, physical examination values, and laboratory tests. So they specifically picked men between the ages of 20 to 44 who underwent an early morning testosterone level, somewhere between the times of 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then they broke down these men into 5-year age groups, meaning 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and so on and so forth, up to 40 to 44. And pulling all this data, they got to about 1,500 men whose average age was about 32 years old. So what did they find? Well, they found that in the 25 to 29 year age group, that the mean testosterone was the highest, the average testosterone, and that was 514 nanograms per deciliter. And when you look at those who were 40 to 44, the group was the lowest of 430 nanograms per deciliter. They also found that for every single year you age, they saw a decrease in testosterone of 4.9 0.3 nanograms per deciliter. And then they decided, well, how do we do age-specific cutoff for low testosterone? Well, when they looked at the American Urological Association guidelines, they looked at tertiles, meaning if you broke up the men in a certain age group, the first third of them would have testosterone at this level, the next third would have them in this level, and the last third would have them in this level. And it was kind of like a bell curve with the majority of the people being in the middle tertile. And so they looked at their data in the same way to decide what would be a age-specific cutoff. So they found that the age-specific cutoff starting from 20 to 24-year-olds all the way to 40 to 44-year-olds was 409, 413, 359, 352, and 350. So this is a great starting point for a discussion about what is considered normal in your age group and where is kind of the beginning of normal considered. However, this is not a perfect study, and there are some limitations. One is that we don't know if the men in the study actually had low testosterone because they didn't actually look if they had symptoms of low testosterone. So you would imagine that if you're getting a representative sample of the United States, there will be several men who have low testosterone. In fact, that may mean that the cutoff is actually a little bit higher if you look at only men who don't have low testosterone symptoms. Secondly, the NHANES database only got one serum testosterone level. And we know that if you have an abnormal testosterone level, 30 to 34% of those men will have a normal testosterone level over the next 24 hours. So you're kind of overdiagnosing maybe a third of people with low testosterone. So in an ideal world, you'd get both those numbers and maybe average.
Those numbers are flat out low. It is not normal. It may be in the low normal range, okay, but that's not even mediocre. That doesn't mean that should be an average like what she's talking about. What that really tells me is we've been doing a terrible job and men are being greatly affected by low testosterone levels. And the reason is it's our food. It's food and environment. And in our food, we're finding plastics, we're finding dyes, we're finding things that are contributing to the conversion of testosterone into estrogen in men. It also happens in women too, but it affects them differently. We're turning our men into bitches. We're turning our men into women, and it is not okay. And I think there's a group of people that don't want men. Oh, men are more aggressive. We can't have more aggressive men when their testosterone levels are higher. Men feel better when their testosterone levels are higher. You know, this study was done in the early to mid 2010s, and now we're in 2025. Things have not gotten better. You do not have to live with this. And to say that, you know, this 5-year group of men should have to live with this level of testosterone versus another, it's just total garbage. If you are going to treat your low testosterone, I'm an advocate of optimization, of being at your optimized level. Why in the world do you want to do this to be mediocre? If I can be at this level and it's safe and it's healthy for me to be at this level and that's higher, why would I not want to be at that level? Why would I want to be in the mediocre range, which to me would be in the 600 to 800 range? High end normals, 1,000 to 1,300. She's talking about 350 to, I don't know, not even 500. We're not even up to 500. It's ridiculous. And I'm not the only one that thinks so. Lots of great doctors support exactly what I'm talking about. The problem is there's too few of them. All right. It's great that we're having these conversations and doing this. But again, I don't want this to be normalized for people to be thinking, oh, this is actually okay. This is not okay. It's not okay. Being a man, this is what makes you a man, is your testosterone. Everything comes off of this overall health-wise, and there is no risk for you to be at the higher end. And this is not the higher end. This isn't even getting somebody to mediocre. So what are your own thoughts on that there's no range? What are your thoughts on there's no range across all these different societies have a different normal range, and then all of these different labs have a different normal range? Why, if this is science, isn't it much more like this is it? This is what the normal range is that everybody uses. We should not have 10 different ones. So we'll see how she finishes up.
Of people with low testosterone. So in an ideal world, you get both those numbers and maybe average those or look at the highest number to get a true normal value. So while this is interesting and useful, if you are having low testosterone symptoms, please make an appointment with your doctor, your urologist, or endocrinologist to discuss what this means and if you are a candidate for treatment for low testosterone. And that doesn't always mean getting testosterone. It may mean doing a host of other things. So I've talked about low testosterone many times in the past, including what to do to boost your testosterone levels, what testosterone replacement therapy is and how it works, symptoms, lots of stuff. So check out my testosterone playlist to learn more. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe. It means the world to me. I totally appreciate it. And if you want a reminder to take care of yourself, check out my Take Care of Yourself water bottle and coffee mug, where you can remind yourself to take care of yourself because you're worth it.
Yes, you are worth it, men. And we get treated like shit when it comes to men's health care. Is she helping improving that in any way with this information? Again, she's contributing to the conversation, gets more people talking about it. But as far as on the information front, this is very, very weak. The numbers are weak that she talks about. The one thing I will tell you that I believe in very strongly and encourage you to do before you do anything, get tested. And I'm not talking about get tested twice if you do want to get tested twice. Get tested once, 2 weeks later, get tested again. I'm fine with that. But get tested so you have a baseline. Do a very comprehensive test the first time you do it. And if you're not sure, like if you want to go to your doctor to get the testing done, or if you typically, maybe you're not, I even talked to somebody yesterday, they don't even really go to the doctor. They haven't been sick. And so I gave them a link. There are other companies like this, and I have no affiliation with this company and get no benefit whatsoever, but it's called Let's, L-E-T-S, Let's Get Checked, all one word, letsgetchecked.com. You can order a male hormone test there from anywhere from around, I think, $80 to $200. The $200 package is going to be your most comprehensive. I suggest doing that the first round. Later on, if you're dialed in and you're doing your testosterone replacement therapy, or maybe you don't even need it. The test shows you don't need it, whatever it shows you. But you won't have to always do the most comprehensive, most expensive test. But the very first one, getting the most comprehensive test, just seems to be like a really smart thing to do, which is what I would recommend to you. I review those. You're able to get a hold of me through all different types of social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. When people contact me through those parts of the social media, I do give out my cell phone number. People send me their lab work all the time, and I review it and have a conversation with them and explain it in real terms of how it can help and benefit you. I'm not a doctor. I'm just somebody that knows an extremely high amount, or I know a lot about this shit. And I'm willing, without having that paper, to sit across from any doctor and have a talk about testosterone at any time. So if you're a doctor that wants to challenge any of the assertions I've made, you could also please contact me through social media. We do interviews. We'd love to have you on and see if you agree or disagree with me and why, because I'm going to ask some really hard questions. Tell me, why is it not okay for a 57-year-old, which I am, to have the testosterone levels of a 20-year-old, which I do? And it's done through testosterone replacement therapy. All my labs are fantastic and great. My liver, my red blood cell count, my estrogen, and even when I've done higher doses, testosterone is not killing men. Not having enough testosterone maybe is. That's my point. Check us out. Give your own thoughts here at the bottom. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. This has been the reaction video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces.